Hi everyone, so let's start by introducing my Alocasia Frydek. Yes, it has one leaf. It didn't used to look like this, it actually used to look like this. I'll insert a photo here. This is my absolute pride and joy. It looked beautiful, as you can see, and now it only has one sad leaf. So, what happened? I got root rot. Typical Alocasias are really fussy. I thought that was doing really well with mine, and obviously one day it didn't look so good and its leaves started to drop off until it looked like this. So in an emergency I just put it in water because I removed all the root rot. I soaked it in hydrogen peroxide, 3% diluted 1:3 ratio, and then luckily it has actual roots. So it used to literally just have nothing, absolutely nothing, just, I guess what you'd call like the core of the plant, had nothing else. So in a desperate attempt to save it, as you do, I went onto YouTube. I'm not a plant expert, I'm a plant hobbyist. So I found myself on a channel called the Sydney Plant Guy. I will tag him somewhere on this video or in the caption. So the Sydney Plant Guy actually got a tip from someone else. He also had an Alocasia Frydek that was not doing well. I actually can't remember the account that he got the tips off, but one of them was a really cool combination of leca and sphagnum moss. So I've got my pre-washed leca. I'm going to pop my Frydek in here with some sphagnum moss. I get my sphagnum moss from Soil Ninja. This is actually my first time working with sphagnum moss. Here we go. Please sponsor me. And we're going to see how it goes because I wanted to record this journey to be kind of similar to the Sydney Plant Guy. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just want to try and record the journey because if I can get it back to its beautiful self, or maybe looking even better, bonus, then I'm going to be really happy. But I'm going to start getting out some moss. So I want to try and remove any bits of like twigs and stuff that shouldn't be in there. There isn't much, to be honest. Those people that live in the UK, by the way, glass jars, really cheap. I got mine from Home Bargains. It's literally like a pasta jar. It was about £2, so yeah, don't bother getting really fancy vases. This should work fine. So what's supposed to happen is, because Alocasias are so prone to root rot, this is going to act a little bit like a self-watering pot, I imagine. So it's going to give it sort of like a reservoir at the bottom of the jar, and then the moss will wick up sort of the moisture that it needs, and then we'll give it to the roots and kind of drip feed the plant. So fingers crossed that's what happens. I'm also going to try growing my own sphagnum moss, so if you have sphagnum moss you can put it in a shallow container. I'll do another video on that where I'm growing my sphagnum moss and see how that turns out. Not very exciting, but again, if anyone's thinking of trying it and they don't know what to do, I'm going to be a guinea pig, so I'm going to try and do it myself. Right, I've got quite a lot of moss down here ready to go into my jar, so I'm going to take out my Alocasia, my sad looking one-leafed Alocasia. I'm going to start to pack some sphagnum moss around the roots. So the way that the Sydney Plant Guy did it was bundle moss around the roots basically, and that seemed to work really well because the roots can kind of like make the way through the moss rather than just cramming it all together. So this is what my jar is looking like at the moment. So I'm going to put my Frydek in here. I'm really hoping that I can save this because this is one of my favourite plants and I was so proud of myself. Everyone was like, yeah, Alocasias are just a pain, like Alocasias are so dramatic. And then I was thinking, no, like they're really easy, like I'm having such a good time with Alocasias. And then lo and behold, I spoke too soon. My Alocasia was not happy with me at all, and it was evident. My sad Alocasia is looking pretty good in here. So the idea is, when this isn't all fogged up, you fill the water up to the leca line so you won't overwater it, and you can, I think you keep refilling it once you can't see any water in the leca. So here we go. I'm going to give it a water and we will come back for some progress updates. Fingers crossed it works. So my sphagnum moss is already quite dry, quite damp, so I'm going to just water it a little bit until it goes all the way down to the leca. You should start to see this filling up. I'm going to leave it at that, that's perfect. And then we will wait for some progress updates in the next few weeks. The Sydney plant guys seem to get some results after about a month. It did get worse before it got better, so hopefully this doesn't get any worse, because I think I've gone through the worst part. Obviously all the roots fell off, all the leaves fell off, and I was left with one singular leaf. I imagine we won't see much leaf growth for quite a while, because obviously it's going to be working on more of the root system, but luckily I managed to save the root system a little bit by putting it in water. Again, whether that was the right decision, I don't know. It seemed to work at the time and I was panicking, so me and my sad Frydek will be back with some results, fingers crossed.